Okay.
Are we recording?
So, today we're going to pick up where we left off on yesterday. What did we talk about yesterday?
The internet.
What is Mr. Internet? What did you learn yesterday? What is Mr. Internet? Yeah, everybody's quiet today. An internet is nothing but a network. Yesterday we talked about how things go back and forth across the internet. Today I want to talk about some of the things you do and why. It's really important to remember as we go through this that there's always multiple layers. Whenever you're talking about something with computers, there's layers. Okay? At the lowest layer on the internet, there's nothing but individual packets. That's all there is. And remember, the packets go from point to point to point to point. Little packets are like little notes. Think about it like little index cards. And every index card has like a word. And if you want to make a sentence, you have to send 5 index cards along. That's what's happening on the internet. Okay? Every one of these is completely independent. It travels across the internet and it arrives at its destination. And there's an order, there's a sequence number, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So the receiver knows how to put them back in the right order. They don't necessarily go across the internet in the right order, but they will reassemble them in the right order. Okay? So that's what's happening at the lowest level. But what we want to talk about today is as we go up, what we call the stack. These are some buzzwords that you'll hear if you do further reading about this. As you go up the stack, above the basic protocol, you start getting to other things. For instance, there's ways to stream these packets together. TCP/UDP is some protocols that are used to put these packets into a stream so that all of them represent one thing. It's called a connection. So this is individuals. At this level, it's a stream. So where this is a bunch of index cards, this is index cards put together with meaning. Then you have things that use this. And let's talk about our old friend HTTP. Ever seen that? Anyone, if you've been on the internet, you've seen that. So, this is what I want to talk about today. What is something like an HTTP? Here's some of the things you might see. Whoa, I can't write today. HTTP. HTTPS. Ever seen that? SMTP. FTP, NNTP. Notice something familiar about all these things? There's an RTP. There's all different ones. These are called protocols. A protocol is a way of communicating. Okay? If you're in government and you're talking to other nations, there's always protocols. The protocols define how you communicate. A protocol will be like, when you get up in the morning, you say, "Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Dad." That's a protocol. That's something that you do to show respect. It's a means of accomplishing something through consistent actions. So these are all protocols. On the internet, these are ways of doing something. These two are very similar. What this stands for is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If you put an S on the end, it means Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. SMTP Anybody want to make a guess? SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. What do you think FTP would be? Anybody want to guess?
Fast.
File Transfer Protocol. What about NNTP? You don't see this very much anymore. It was really popular back in the early days. I actually forget what it means. I think it's Network News Transfer Protocol. I'm writing these out because I want you to see something. See some similarities in all of these things? This is about text transfer protocol. How to transfer text. This is about mail transfer protocol. How to transfer mail. Email. File transfer protocol. How to transfer files. All of these things is how to transfer things across the internet, because remember, the internet itself is nothing but a bunch of pipes. We talked about this yesterday. The internet is the pipes between this computer, and this guy sitting here at his little PC. This is the internet. Not this, this. So everything that you do on the internet is about transferring from here to here, from here to here. What are you transferring? Well, you can transfer text. These are web pages. This is email. This is files. This is news. And I'm not going to do RTP and those that get a little more complex. Just take those off. So you see, the things that we do today on the internet, when we say Google something, what we're really saying is use the hypertext transfer protocol to transfer something from Google to yourself. That's actually what you're saying. It's about the transfer. The one I want to look at is the popular one, this one here, just to give you a clue for how these things work. They all work basically the same, just different in what they do. So let's look at these two. What is hypertext? It's an interesting term that has lost meaning. Here is what it actually meant when it started. Today we have web pages. That wasn't always what there was. What there was originally is text. There's text. What makes it hypertext? In the old days, hypertext is because all of these words were clickable. If you clicked on brown, it would go to another web page about brown. If you clicked on dog, it would go to another web page about dogs. If you clicked on jumped, it would go to another web page about jumping. See? Hypertext means the text is hyper, it's linked. You can click anywhere to anywhere. If you click on brown let's say this brown, it's about colors. Then you can click on color and it would take you to another web page about colors. So it's a way of exploring information that never existed before, the ease of use. Before this happened, you know how you had to do this? Some of you have done some of this in school. I say, go look that up. You go look it up, and it says something. And you're like, what does that mean? And I say, go look that up. And you get another book, and you go look it up, and it says something. And you ask, what does that mean? And I say, go look that up. That's exactly what this is. This is the go look it up. Except it's easy. You click a word. Nowadays, you can click a picture. You can click anything. And it takes you somewhere. That somewhere is another web page on another computer. It could be the same one, could be different. You don't know. There's ways to tell, but you don't know. But it's text that's linked. So technically, every web page on the internet is all linked together in a big, yes, web. Notice the word? Web is short for World Wide Web. They call it World Wide Web because if you drew a picture of how all the web pages are linked together, it's going to look like a spider web. There's actually some websites out there that do this, and that's exactly what it looks like, a big spider web. Everything is interlinked, and anything can send you to whatever it's linked to. So the bottom line is HTTP and its cousin HTTPS is a way of exploring this World Wide Web of pages that are all stored out here on these servers. A server, remember, we talked about these yesterday, is nothing but a computer that is sitting there behind the internet. And on this computer is web pages. Every computer has web pages. And these web pages have these links where they're all linked together. So here's an interesting concept. A little bit off topic, but I think it's valid to poke at it. I talked about levels, how you have the packet, and then you have the stream, and then you have the protocol. There's also two different worlds to these levels. There is what we call logical, and there's physical. Logical is what it means. Physical is what it is. Look at this picture. This is a physical picture. In this picture, you see there's physical things you can touch. There's computers, there's network wires, there's power, there's things that are there. You can touch them, hold them, move them. That's the physical world. What is inside of these is this. This is the logical world. This doesn't exist. Can you touch a web page? You can touch the screen that the web page is on, the computer that the web page comes from. You can't touch a web page. That's in the logical world. Everything today is both logical and physical. Logical refers to what it means. Physical refers to what it physically is. There's two sides to the internet, logical and physical. If you look at an internet map, which there are some out there, you will see a picture like this of a bunch of pipes and lines connecting physical things. If you look at a map of web pages, you'll see very similar things, but instead of these computers, now you have the pages. And you don't know, are these two on this server or are these two on that server? You don't know. The logical world has meaning separate from the physical world, but the physical world makes it possible. So there's two levels that you have to think on when you get into the computer science world. It's two different levels, logical and physical. If you take this back to our lesson on programming, a program is what? Logical and physical. Remember, a program is a set of instructions that tell the computer what to do. Is that logical or physical? Is it something you can touch? It's really hard to touch words. Grab them. Remove them. You can't touch words. A program is logical. Where does the program run? What does it do? What does it change? An actual computer. So the logical world is what makes the computer do things. But the physical world is the computer that has to exist before the logical can do anything. They're inexplicably linked. So, let's bring it all back to our lesson today. When we say the World Wide Web, what we're referring to is this logical web of pages. Every one of these is a page, and every page links to other pages, like a big spider web. When we say the internet, we're referring to the interconnection of physical computers to yours. All interconnected so they can talk. These is what makes it possible to communicate. If you didn't have these protocols, how would you ever talk? What language would you choose? So one guy says, I want a web page. Another guy says, give me a web page. Another guy says, what's on your web page? There's all different ways of saying the same thing. A protocol means say it this way, and I will give you the answer. Everybody communicates the same way. It's a language. So this is the way you write and use the protocol. HTTP://. Every one of these that I had listed up there have this little piece in it. Why? Because this, before the colon, means the protocol to use. This means the end of the protocol. This means a location is coming. So you're saying, I want this protocol from location. So what I just did, nowadays, you don't have to do all of this. You can just type in google.com and boom, it comes up. But what's happening is the computer's doing the hard work for you. It's putting all this in. If you look at your browser bar at the top, you'll see this. Because this is what you actually sent. You might type this. The computer will interpret it to be this proper formatted thing. So what happens when you send this? This is called a request. In this protocol, there is commands. In these packets that are transferring across, there's commands. This happens to be a get command. But it can get more specific. You've seen lots of links where it goes on. Well, that's interesting. If this is the location, what's this about? Think of this like folders. So this says, if you only have that part, it says, go to google.com and give me whatever their default page is. I don't know what the name is, so just give me whichever one they think I should get. If you put / and a name, then it says, go to google.com and get me whatever default page is in that particular folder. Another thing you can do is, okay, go to google.com, go into this folder and get this particular page. This is now, page.htm is now a page name. Notice this has no ending. The reason you put these little dots and something behind it is because it tells you what it is. This, HTM. HTM is short for HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So here's where it all comes together. What did this stand for? HTTP. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So a file that is written in this language is accessible by this protocol. That's how it all comes together. When you create a web page, which is a really fun thing to do, you can create your own web pages. It's real easy. It's just a language. You write in this language, you store it on one of the servers on the internet, and anybody that has your address, your full address, can see your web page. This is what changed the world. This process made it possible for Levi to go on his home computer, write a short document, and distribute it at no cost to the entire world. and billions of people can see Levi's document. That has never been done before in the history of mankind. And that happened within my generation. When I was a kid your age, if you wanted to distribute something, you had options. You could go get it printed. You could go on the radio and talk about it. Everything was expensive and limited and obvious. Now, you guys can right now go out there, make a web page, put it on a web server, and the entire world can see it instantly at no cost to either end. So, in this day and age, these little things here, the World Wide Web, has created a situation where you, the individual, can talk to the world. You have a capability that nobody prior to us has ever been able to do. Even when Jesus walked on the earth, he talked to people that were around him. They left books behind. But now, you can go out there and you can talk to 1 billion people today. It's that easy. That's what this does. This is all about transferring information. These technical things is about how you transfer it, but at the heart of it, it's about being able to talk to the world. You have a message you want to get out, you have a product you want to sell, you have something you want to say, you can do it.
Daddy, I found these up in the cabinet. Somebody threw them mine yesterday.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So all of the other protocols work very similar to the same way. You've always got the protocol, you've got this formatting of the proper stuff around it, and you've got stuff in back of it. That is the location. If I change HTTP to FTP, you know what happens? I can put this exact same location behind it, and you know what happens? I create a connection to this server, but now in that connection, it's waiting for me to transfer files. In this one, because it's HTTP, it's giving me back web pages. So this tells you what you want to do, this tells you where you want to do it with, and this tells you the individual page or document that you're looking for. And that's how it works. It's all about addresses. Okay? I think we're going to end there for today.